Hello and welcome to the European Grand Prix here at the Hockenheim circuit. It's a short circuit for this layout. The long circuit will come later in the end of the season. Fisichella is coming up opposition. De La Rosa has beaten it. No, De La Rosa has not beaten him. He's 3 tenths behind. Montoya is actually behind Fisichella. And Young has just thrashed the whole entire field by nearly 1 second. Young is just powerful at the moment. It's unstoppable. De La Rosa is coming in second place, 5 tenths behind. We haven't seen Montoya's full potential, and that's why he sandbagged the first lap, he looks like. Young has just beaten his lap time now. Young is now 1.2 seconds ahead of De La Rosa. Montoya is a second ahead of a second ahead of Pedro De La Rosa. Where else we got? We got Ralf Schumacher in 5th place. It's good qualifying for him at the moment. Buttons in 6th. He'd want to improve. Verstappen has just beaten Ralf Schumacher. It's a great qualifying for the Dutchman. Who else we got? Frentzen popped there in the 13th. Panis in the 11th. Michael Schumacher, after a few tough races, is in 9th place. Mark Webber is in 8th. He nearly had a fantastic result last race. In fact, he did have a fantastic result last race because he managed to score points. Panis has used all of his laps, so has Montoya. Montoya has not beaten Young. Fisichella has done all 12 of his laps. A lot of drivers still with 2 timed laps left, including Ralf Schumacher and Verstappen. Ralf Schumacher has just gone out and not improved. Button has improved though. He's gone above Ralf Schumacher. At the moment, it's not looking like there's too many changes around. Looks like everyone did their best time in their second lot. Is there going to be any last second changes? Not from the top 13. It looks like everyone is set in stone. It's going to be Young on pole position, Montoya alongside him. De La Rosa 3rd, Fisichella 4th, Verstappen 5th, Button 6th, Schumacher 7th, Webber 8th, Panis 9th, Rubens Barrichello in 10th place. There is your top 10. 11th down to 20th would be Michael Schumacher, Gaston Mazzacane, Damon Hill, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Coulthard, Jean Alesi, Luciano Berti, Kimi Raikkonen, Fernando Alonso, and Takuma Sato. And that is your grid for the German Grand Prix. It's the European Grand Prix here at the Hockenheim circuit. It's a picturesque circuit. Lots of history. The first ever time that we're on the short circuit in 3 seasons. We are waiting for the grid to set off for the race. Waiting for all 5 lights to come on, and we are racing! Everyone looks like they've gotten off the grid, which is an improvement for most races. Looks like Montoya is coming over to cover the line of De La Rosa. Top 7 looks like to have gotten away comfortably. Young is in the lead. Montoya 2nd. That looks like Fisichella going really wide. That's going to drop in places from Fisichella. It looks like he tangled with De La Rosa a little bit. It is Verstappen in 4th. It's a good start from the McLaren driver. In fact, he's going to have a look down the inside of De La Rosa. Is he going to make that move stick? Not yet. Button is in 5th. Ralf Schumacher 6th. Webber 7th. Panis 8th. Schumacher 9th. Mazzacane 10th. Cuts off Hill in 11th. Frentzen 12th. Coulthard 13th, Berti 14th, Lazy 15th, Raikkonen looking down the inside in 16th, Alonso 17th, Sato in 18th, Fisichella has not been seen, and there's another driver missing in all that, unless I am mistaken. I probably am mistaken. We have the replay here. Let's see what happened to Fisichella. I believe he tangled with De La Rosa. So down the inside he did. He tried to go for the overtake on Ralf Pedro De La Rosa, but he just closed the door shut, preventing Fisichella from coming through. And now Fisichella has lots of work to do. When I said all the drivers got away smoothly, they didn't. Rubens Barrichello didn't go away from the grid. He is your first retirement of the race, unfortunately. been a few races now that there's been a driver that's not been able to get off the grid because of the electronics. We're on the replay here of Alex Young down towards the hairpin. Montoya following behind in second place. De La Rosa third. He managed to keep hold of that position ahead of Verstappen. It's a very difficult braking area. This is Button fifth. Ralf Schumacher in sixth. Still Webber seventh. Then we'll have Panis in 8th place, 9th place is Michael Schumacher, 10th place Damon Hill at the moment in the Jordan. That was a good guess from me, I didn't actually know Hill was in 10th place. Young leads by about 2 seconds as they come into the stadium section. Beautiful part of the track this is, a very deceiving corner now, very cambered corner. You can take lots of speed into that corner. Young's already got a 3-second lead. De La Rosa 2 seconds behind as well. The top two will more than likely pull away from all of these and just be on a world of their own. Verstappen is in 4th place. There's gaps building up between the whole field. There's like 1 second pockets from everywhere. Button currently in 5th place and Ralf Schumacher's in 6th. Then Ralf Schumacher's, this is the closest battle is Ralf Schumacher and Webber in the top 6. There's Webber in 7th, Panis is in 8th. Board with Panis. Still 3/10 behind Webber. He's in the Australian slipstream. He's made a huge dive on as Olivier Panis, and Webber has gone wide, but it's a fantastic move from Panis, and it's an overtake. We've seen an overtake. Not seen many of them during the past few races, but we have now finally seen an overtake. Michael Schumacher in 9th place in the Ferrari. Round the tight turn 6, round turn 7. Bertie is in 10th place in the Jaguar. Up towards the stadium section. Actually, in fact, Bertie has made a fantastic start. I mean, the Jaguars are ready for a driver, so I presume it's Bertie, but Bertie's actually gone from like 16th all the way up to 10th from light fuel load, and in the pits goes Bertie for his first pit stop. I'm not sure how many pit stops Bertie's going to make. Around the first corner, a seriously fast corner. You take quite a lot of apex speed into that corner. And then down towards turn 2, the German Grand Prix will carry on going down that straight down towards the forest. The European Grand Prix turns right into this long sweeping turn 4, not real straight, but it's fully flat out, and you can pick up so much speed, and then watch your braking marker just 150. And that's Fisichella going down the inside of Raikkonen. Fisichella making up from lost time there. Passing Raikkonen, that is for 15th. In towards turn 7 or 8. And that is Kimi Raikkonen pulling off the side of the track. He looks like to be out with a suspension failure, I'm hearing from the team radio. First retirement, second retirement. Second retirement of the race is Kimi Raikkonen. Young is already going down the turn 4 sweeper. Down towards turn 5, the hairpin. 311 kilometers an hour he is going at. Down to 60 kilometers an hour. Climbing up the gears. Round turn 6, turn 7 comes immediately, then turn 8. Pablo Montoya is second. Pablo Montoya in second. De La Rosa in third place in the Jaguar. Fourth is Verstappen. 5th place is Jenson Button. Might have heard over the radio that there was an accident for Michael Schumacher. We hope to get a replay of that. Panis looks like to be on fire. He's overtaken Ralf Schumacher this time. Ralf Schumacher's got a lot of pressure from Mark Webber behind. Hopefully we see a replay of what happened to Michael Schumacher, because it sounds like he might have crashed. We have no idea how though. That's a fastest lap for Alex Young as well. Down the inside goes Mark Webber on Ralf Schumacher. Is he going to make this move stick? That's not usually an overtaking opportunity. Ralf Schumacher manages to keep hold of what is now 7th. We have this replay now of Michael Schumacher round turn 1. Coming towards turn 2, and that's a very unusual accident. It looks like his suspension collapsed and pitched him into the inside wall on the straight. So Michael Schumacher is now out. Panis, we are on board with, currently one of the fastest guys on the circuit, in 6th place. Mark Webber taking a wide line, trying to overtake Ralf Schumacher. 7th and 8th. This battle is for. They're not real got much trouble with the BAR Matsucane behind. The gap behind that is currently 2 seconds down round the sweeper. Ralf Schumacher seems to be struggling a little bit at the moment. Webber looks to try and take advantage around the hairpin, and he makes that move stick. It's a very clean overtake there. And Webber is up into 7th place. Ralf Schumacher struggling at the moment. Not sure what is up with the arrows. He's definitely not comfortable with the car. Verstappen 4th, Button still 5th. And Panis, the man on a mission, in 6th place. Down towards the stadium section. Round the hammered corner. Both Ferraris are out, by the way. Just remembered. And then we also have Raikkonen now. Panis going to take an overtake, but that's very brave if he tried doing it there. With all the crowds on the left hand side, hopefully this is going to be a roaring success at European Grand Prix. Around the first corner. Oh, he nearly had a good run in, but Button blocked the way there. Panis looking around the outside, showing his presence to Button. We've got a 2-second gap in front of Webber, 2 seconds of breathing space. Down towards the hairpin. 2:33, 14 kilometers an hour. Panis might have fancied his chances if Button didn't try going for an overtake of Verstappen. Webber 7th. Ralf Schumacher is actually falling into the clutches of Matsucane at the moment. 1.8 seconds is still the gap though. Ralf Schumacher is currently in the middle of the moment. Matsucane is in 9th in the BA, already on lap 6 out of 26. Damon Hill in 10th. And Alex Young just crossed the finish line doing the fastest lap of the race. That's how far ahead he is currently of this lap. Hilton Coulthard 11th. That is Fisichella still making up for last time. He's up to 12th place now. Brenson's in 13th. 14th, I'm not quite sure who it is. Is Fisichella going to make a move around this? Oh, got a little touch there by Coulthard. Round the second to last corner, around the final corner. Looks like Alberti has crashed somewhere on the circuit. I presume he is in just before the stadium section, I reckon. Bertie retires in sector 2. In fact, it's going to be at the hairpin. This is going to be a huge accident here. Not really. It looks like stuck throttle, possibly. It broke, but didn't break enough. Young, lucky to not have to overtake Bertie, but Bertie becomes the 4th retirement, retiring around their hairpin. Young, 16-second lead over Juan Pablo Montoya at the moment. Young cannot be stopped at the moment. Montoya has an 11-second lead over De La Rosa. De La Rosa is a 10-second lead over Verstappen. Verstappen is about 40 seconds behind the race leaders. And we've done 7 laps. Verstappen in 4th. Button 5th. Panis 6th. Webber 7th. Ralf Schumacher still in 8th. Matsucane in 9th place. And these lot are playing for a miracle that someone from the top 3 decides to take all each other out. fact, Ralf Schumacher is being caught by Mazzacane. Mazzacane is only a second behind. Mazzacane is dropping Hill at the moment. There is Hill in the Jordan holding up Coulthard. Fisichella still cannot find a way past Coulthard. As I said, it's a 40-second gap behind fourth and the leader, 53 seconds behind Frentzen in 13th. We've got Jean Alesi in 14th, 56 seconds behind the leader. They're going to be close to being lapped. They might potentially be lapped twice if they're not too careful, especially with the current pace of 124 that they are doing down towards the hairpin. Fisichella's got a very difficult time of it because Coulthard's trying to pass Hill at the same time, so he can't get down the inside because Coulthard's always down the inside of Hill, unless that Coulthard can finally make this move stick. He cannot. Coulthard nearly had a good line, but nothing doing there. Hill holding on to the final point at the moment. Round turn 8. Goes the two Brits. Turn 10, 9 into the stadium section. Coulthard takes a very wide line, cutting inside, down round the still very deceiving corner. That's a tighter corner than the hairpin at the end of that long straight, but it's pretty fast because of the camber. Camber is in favour of the cars. On board with Fisichella, he is still trying to find a way past Coulthard. There's the Minardi team ready in the pit stop. You can only assume it's for Alex Young. Alex Young's pace is on fire at the moment. He might have enough of a gap to get ahead of De La Rosa. We shall soon find out, because Young turns left in towards the pit lane. Very unusual pit lane here. Down the inside of the track. Very difficult to get into. Now we are going to be parking up and waiting for the fuel to go in, for four tyres to be changed on the Minardi. Montoya goes past. 9.6 second stops. He's definitely doing a 2-stop like he usually does. Montoya is 6 seconds in the lead. De La Rosa is 8.5 seconds behind. So 7.5 seconds behind. The time is just updated. Montoya leads in the Toyota. Down towards the hairpin. It's going to be a beautiful shot here of the Toyota going around the hairpin around 60 kilometers an hour. Avoid the gravel on the outside, otherwise you're probably not going to get out of that. De La Rosa done full throttle. Look at the train. Look at the train that Verstappen is created. Looks like Mazzacane is also past Ralf Schumacher. Verstappen, Button, Panis, Webber, Ralf Schumacher, Mazzacane, all in this sort of train that Button has created, not Button, Verstappen has created. Mazzacane, like I said, has passed Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher's still struggling to do anything in this race, in the Arrows. Maybe he's heavier on fuel than the rest of these guys. It would make sense. He's hoping to get some sort of undercut. Fisichella is in 11th. The BAR is ready for one of their drivers. I believe it will be for Olivier Panis that they are ready for. Coulthard in the McLaren 12th. Frentzen 13th in the Arrows. 14th is Jean Alesi in a Renault. And then we have Desperate in 15th. And then Tweedledum here in 16th place. Bertie, one retirement. Schumacher's another retirement. Raikkonen's another retirement. And Barrichello's your final retirement at the moment. Montoya has managed to catch up to Tweedledum. Down towards... Oh, that's not going to help Montoya's cause. Trying to pass Alonso. He's just passed Alonso there, though. Which I call him by his actual names, not from their back marker names. That is Alonso. Sato is in front. There is Sato's teammate Alex Young. Both Young and Montoya fighting for the championship. But somehow Fisichella is also really close towards the championship because them two keep making mistakes and Fisichella keeps capitalising on them. Though Fisichella has made a mistake in this race and now he's trying to smoke his way up the field. There's your rundown of the race so far. There's your rundown of the championship so far. I bet De La Rosa's up there somewhere. Not particularly sure where. We're in towards the stadium section. Matsukane is in 7th. Panis has already pitted. It's only a matter of time for Matsukane to pit. Rashomach has been dropped by these lots. There he is. 3rd place, he came in the last race. An impressive result too. And there is Fisichella. Fisichella's actually passed Coulthard. And now he is heckling Damon Hill in the Jordan. No overtaking there. Jordan seems to be really good at blocking the way for other drivers. Fisichella's on a 122.8, which is quite quick for the Renault driver to say he's in traffic. Round the long sweeping left-hander down towards the hairpin. Expect the one-stoppers to be coming in quite relatively soon, and that is Hill in 2 wheels. That was a rather interesting predicament there for Damon Hill. Luckily he managed to land on all 4 wheels and continue. But that was a wild ride for Damon Hill. Fisichella's also gotten past. A bit ruthlessly. But rather impressive skill there from Hill to make sure he didn't flip over. Matsukane is getting ready to go into the pits. We're on board with Ralf Schumacher. Matsukane is indeed going into the pits. Like I said, obviously. Webber down around the first corner. 4-second lead over Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher, not sure what's happened to him this race. He performed excellently in Australia to get that podium. The scene of the first win of Arias' season last season, it's catapulted them to the title, winning in Australia. But they're not near any diva title. They're just fighting for pride now in the final 4 races. Button 5th, Verstappen 4th. They've got Sato in front of the company. He's not for position. He will never be for position. Though there is one race where he might be for position. We're going to France next. Enough said. We know what happens in France. Button has lost heaps of time to Verstappen. Webber is going to go down the inside of Sato as well. Verstappen's got a little bit of breathing space. In towards that turn. On towards the penultimate turn. Final turn coming up. 21 seconds behind this man here, Pedro De La Rosa, who is still in the middle of nowhere, 10 seconds in front and 21 behind. De La Rosa will be counting all the blades of grass, all the dials on his steering wheel. He's got enough time. He's got that much free time. He can just count or make all the bolts that are fabricated into the bodywork. He can count all them. You can even park up, have a cup of tea, go back out and still be in front of Verstappen. The top 3 looks like they're setting stone. Montoya leads, Young second, De La Rosa third. Need I say more in this race? We want to see action, we want to see the fighters. We don't want to see Montoya leading by a postcode. Young is in second place by another postcode. De La Rosa third place by another postcode. And now we have the actual racers. 4th Verstappen, 5th Webber, 6th Button. 6th Button. We're going to see a pass here from Webber on Button. Is he going to go? He's gone the same way as Damon Hill. Both Jordans seeing 2 wheels up in the air. Luckily both of them landed. So Mark Webber's now up into 5th place in the Sauber. 6th place Button. McLaren ready in the pits. I only presume because of the late call it's going to be for Coulthard. We're going to see the one-stoppers pits now. Between laps 14 and laps 18, we reckon the one-stoppers are going to pit. Fisichella is all pinned to 8th place. Coulthard is going to dive into the pits, so we won't see him go past. Hill then goes up into 9th place in the Jordan. Coulthard's still in 10th at the moment. It's now Frentzen in 10th in the Arrows. Lazy is in 11th. Coulthard still, no, Mazzacane has passed in the BAR for 12th. Mazzacane has to make another pit stop though, so does Panis behind. Looking all good for BAR to score points. They were flying in the opening sequences, but not been anywhere. Coulthard finds empty space because Alonso 15th in the Toyota, 16th is Sato. Sauber already in the pits. And Raikkonen is out, so it's going to be for Webber. He's so slow, is Sato. There is Webber. In towards pit lane. Down to 80 kilometers now. A Button goes past. Ralf Schumacher's going to go past. They're both going to have the joys of performing the undercut. Fisichella goes past. Not undercut, overcut. Lighter fuel load. Hill is also in. Out goes Webber without his rear wheels or his rear wing. Frentzen has gone past. So that's going to be an on-track overtake he has to do. Is Lazy going to get past? No, because Lazy is also in the pits. Lazy would have gotten past, but he's gone into the pits. So that promotes Frentzen into 8th place at the moment. Fisichella is in 7th, but rapidly catching up to Ralf Schumacher. Fisichella qualifying 4th. Bit of a kerfuffle with De La Rosa. Preventing him to go forward. Verstappen in 4th place. McLaren already. Coulthard has already been serviced, so it's going to be for Jos Verstappen. In towards pit lane he goes. Button's going to go down the inside. I think Ralf Schumacher's also going to go into the pits. Slowing down to 60 kilometers an hour. Which is not Ralf Schumacher. It's not Ralf Schumacher. It is... Oh no, it is Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher has gone into the pits. There is Ralf Schumacher. Thought it might have been potentially Frentzen because I didn't see Schumacher coming down. But fuel 11.3 for Verstappen. Out he goes. Frentzen's gone past, and so has Sato. Verstappen well ahead of Webber. And that is Montoya into the pits for his one and only stop. That will promote Young into the lead. They had a 40-second lead over De La Rosa. But I think De La Rosa must have made his pit stop then. Away goes Montoya. Minardi getting ready. Looks like it's going to be for, I presume, Sato. Renner's ready in the pits. That's going to be for Fisichella, because we can see a Lazy in front of Montoya. So Montoya has to pass a Lazy and the other one on track. De La Rosa has indeed pitted. And that is Button going into the pits. Braking heavily down towards his pit box. And I think we heard a report there from the radio that Juan Pablo Montoya has a problem with his suspension. Not sure, he's just pitted, remembers Montoya, and he has now retired, but we're not going to see where he's retired because of reasons. Frentzen is up into 4th place at the moment, but of course he has to make a pit stop still. So there is Montoya, the unlucky Montoya, but it's just all falling apart for Montoya at the moment. He leads still. Young is in the lead now by a lot. He has no challenges now. Away he goes now. It's a 10-second pit stop. Out goes Young. out towards what can be only described as an easy victory. Now, De La Rosa is in second. Frentzen still in third place because he is yet to make a pit stop. Frentzen has not seen the light of day of this high since last season when he was winning races. But alas, he is going to sacrifice that third place because he's going to be entering the pits. They are also going to have one of their cars go in. It's probably going to be for Panis, because Panis was the first person to make a pit stop between him and Mazzacane. Now braking heavily is Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Down towards his pit box, all the way down to the bottom of the pits. Verstappen's gone past, Fisichella has gone past, Webber's gone past, Ralf Schumacher's gone past, Sato Mazzacane's gone past. Was indeed for Panis. Still filling up arrows of Frentzen. Frentzen is away. He is going to reappear in 9th place. Now he spent most of his time in 13th place at the start of the race, so being in 9th place is actually quite the miracle there. He's managed to jump Hill, Coulthard by a long way. Wonders of the undercut there. There's Coulthard in 11th. He's got Young for company now as David Coulthard. Coulthard, I presume, he's going to let him go round this long sweeping left-hander. Young is going to go around the outside of the Scott. Panis has come out behind Coulthard. Is Panis going to take a look down the inside of the McLaren? Yes, he is. Is it going to be a clean overtake? Yes, it is. In fact, Coulthard has ran wide and has let a Lazy go through as well. A Lazy is up into 12th place. Coulthard down to 13th. Panis at 11th in the BAR 10th. Damon Hill 9th. Still Frentzen. 8th place is Mazzacane. He's got to still make a pit stop. Ralf Schumacher is in 7th place. I presume Fisichella's still going to make a pit stop because I've not seen him into the pits. Webber is in 6th in the Sauber. Fisichella's in 5th. He has actually made his pit stop, so miraculously he's managed to get ahead of all these lot. I'm not actually sure how. Verstappen 4th. Fisichella's going to still come out 4th if he passes Verstappen after being taken off. Button is quite far ahead in 3rd place. He jumped Verstappen and Webber in the pits and has now got quite the advantage. And looking set for 3rd place if he can get past Alonso safely. Which he does. 30 seconds behind Pedro De La Rosa though. There is Verstappen in 4th. And McLaren Fisichella 5th for Renault. 6th is Webber. BAR and Bernardi both ready for the pits. That's probably going to be for Mazzacane and Sato respectively, because Young has already made both of his pit stops. Down the front straight, round the first corner. Down towards turn 2. Fisichella, it's only a matter of time before Fisichella makes his move on the Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman of Jos Verstappen. He's had a very consistent season this season, has Verstappen. But Verstappen with excellent defending work, making sure that Fisichella cannot overtake. This is turn 7. It's little lift. Turn 8, turn 9. Turn 9, that's turn 8. This is turn 9. Down towards stadium sections, turn 10. Alonso's not making his way through. Turn 11, the cambered corner. Alonso's still in the way of Verstappen. And Alonso's finally... Oh, he really turned into Verstappen. But carnage has been not provided. Weber is in 6th. He's actually caught up to the back of Verstappen and Fisichella. Ralf Schumacher is in 7th at the moment. Frentzen is in 8th, so both arrows in the points at the moment. They're one of the, I think, Hill, the Jordan team, are the only other team to have actually both drivers in the points, as evident with what we're going to see here. Young leads in the Minardi. So 10 point scorers, 8 different constructors. Only Ferrari who are both out, and another team, Toyota. The two teams that are not going to have point scorers. Young leads by 23 seconds over De La Rosa, and then we have another long wait for what will be Button, Alesi and Panis looking to do battle down towards the hairpin. Alesi looking down the inside. Has he got enough of a gap? He does not. When is the third place guy going to come past Coulthard? There he is, 53 seconds. He's getting close to being lapped. Alonso is in 14th place. There's quite a huge gap between Alonso and Sato, and Alonso and the rest of the field. In the list of retirements, Juan Pablo Montoya in 16th, Bertie 17th, Michael Schumacher in 18th, Raikkonen in 19th, and Barrichello in 20th place. Your current race leader, Alex Young, lapped up to Frentzen. De Rosa in 2nd place in the Jaguar. Still trying to put up a fight for the championship. Button 3rd in the Jordan. So even, and also despite the fact that Jordan and Arrows have 2 cars in the points, they're not going to outscore Minardi in this race. Jordan will outscore Jaguar though, which will extend the lead in the championship. That's Fisichella trying to make a move on Verstappen, but not managing to do so. It's the fight between 4th, 5th and 6th place, with 3 laps to go, including this one. Round turn 1. Down towards turn 2. Patience will prevail. Fisichella just needs to bide his time to get a fantastic run off of the second. Look down the inside of Verstappen, and that's not what wanted to happen. Oh, that's Verstappen and Raikkonen Schumacher having an accident there, and everything I've just said about point scorers and all that, forget it. Verstappen literally just ran into the front of Ralf Schumacher and just... So the top 5 is going to be in place. It's actually going to promote Frentzen into 6th place. Who would have thought Frentzen in 6th place? Ralf Schumacher might still come out in 7th. I mean, it was a bit naughty from Fisichella. Fisichella's now in 5th place. Ralf Schumacher's going to go into the pits. There he is. Young, there he is. He's going to lap these lot now, so they're not going to finish the race. Now he slows Verstappen further up from the pits than Schumacher's battle of the pit crew, really. Oh, Hill has gone past. Though that slow, Hill managed to get past, so Hill is up into 7th place. I think there might be enough of a gap. Oh, there's a car coming. Matt Takane, so Matt Takane's managed to get past. Anyone else? So it looks like Ralf Schumacher 9th. But Panis is coming up quick. Not quick enough. That's De La Rosa putting a lap on Panis. And Alesi taking his opportunity to pass Panis into the points. So now both Renaults are going to score points. It also means that McLaren aren't scoring points this race, after looking very promising to do so. I jinxed Verstappen. Verstappen looking so well to scoring points in 4th place, and I literally just jinxed him, and he's not scoring any points. Panis nearly sideswiped a lazy. There's Ralf Schumacher in 9th place. He has 3 seconds to catch up to Mazzacane. Don't think that's going to happen. Hill is up into 7th. Frentzen 6th. He's got 21 seconds to catch up to Frentzen. Frentzen is in 5th. Fisichella's in 5th place. Webber's in 4th. Button 3rd. There's a 15-second gap between them. De La Rosa is in 2nd place. Alex Young has won the race. Alex Young has won the European Grand Prix. That's his 3rd race victory in 4 races for the Minardi. De La Rosa is going to come round to finish in 2nd place. Not lapping Ralf Schumacher. Ralf Schumacher is going to finish in 9th after what looked like he was going to finish in 7th. And Button is going to finish in 3rd. Fisichella is going to finish in 5th. It's a fantastic recovery drive, but he's not going to be able to pass Webber. Again, Webber with a fantastic 4th place for Sauber. Sauber have really picked up now. Really picked up and is looking troublesome for the guys behind. And Frentzen has already finished. So, only 5 drivers on the lead lap this time around. And around the final corner, Webber's going to finish in 4th. Fisichella in 5th, Frentzen 6th, Hill 7th, Mazzacane in 8th, Ralf Schumacher in 9th, and Jean Alesi grabs that final point for Renault as we go back on board with Alex Young. Your race winner of the European Grand Prix into Parc Fermé. And now we wait for the rest of the drivers before we reveal the results. The classified results. Alex Young wins. 25.7 seconds was the gap in the end. Button in 3rd. 53.3 seconds behind the race leader. They have a lot of work to do over the summer break. Not summer break, winter break, to catch up. Especially when we get the new regulations put into place. Mark Webber 4th. Fisichella, the last person on the lead lap, in 5th place. Frentzen, to me, Frentzen, driver of the day. I mean, Fisichella did a fantastic job to get back. Actually, yeah, Fisichella, driver of the day. He span on the first lap, went down to 19th place, and managed to do a fantastic drive to get back into 5th place. So my driver of the day goes to Giancarlo Fisichella. And there's the rest of the people that you don't really need to see. Young pretty much had the race in control. He was in 2nd first for a lot of the time until Montoya pitted and retired with suspension failure. Button and Jordan in 3rd place. 4th Mark Webber in the Sauber. 5th Fisichella after being in 17th at the start of the race. Frentzen finishes in 6th place. He was running as high as 3rd at some point. Hill 7th, lucky recipient of 2 positions. Mazzacane finishes in 8th place in the BAR. Again, a lucky recipient of 2 positions. Schumacher was in the wrong place at the wrong time pretty much. He finishes in 9th. Lazy 10th in the Renault. 11th Olivier Panis in the BAR. Just outside of the point after being overtaken by a Lazy. Coulthard in 12th. In the McLaren, he's not scored, and Verstappen both did not score points. Disappointing day for McLaren in the end. And then Fernando Alonso and Sato round off the rest of the field. Finished. And now the unclassified results. Montoya, suspension collapsing. Bertie with a brakes failure. Schumacher with a brakes failure. Raikkonen and Barrichello are the other 2 retirements. Thank you for watching the European Grand Prix. I believe we're going to see a replay of something at the end. There it is. It's Montoya. It's going to be Montoya's retirement. It looks like it's going to happen down the longest straight on the circuit. And there it is. You see the suspension collapsing. It was the front suspension. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the European Grand Prix. See you in France.